Today's lesson is all about buying and selling. So these are the following outcomes or objective for today's lesson. First, we are going to demonstrate the understanding on the basic concept of buying and selling. We are going to compute for the selling price and cost price given a markup price and markdown price and rates. So we are also going to solve a business mathematics problem involving markup and markdown. And we are going to formulate formulas in markup and markdown. So first, let's have the basic concepts, basic terms about buying and selling. The first one we have here is the cost price. When we say cost price class, it is the price that has to be spent to produce goods or services before any profit is added. It is refers to the price of the raw materials needed to produce. For example, if your business about clothing line, okay? So, yung pagbili mo ng mga damit, okay? Halimbawa, pumunta ka ng Divisoria. Usually, kapag you are in the line of clothing, pumupunta talaga kayo sa bagsakan ng bilihan ng damit. Okay? Kasi syempre, doon mas mura. So ngayon, kung magkano mo siya binili, kung magkano mo binili yung product mo, yun yung cost price mo. For example, ang isang t-shirt or ang isang dress, nakabili ka 200. That is your cost price. Okay? So that's your cost price. Wala pa doon yung profit, wala pa yung gusto mong kita, wala pa doon yung operating price, which is yung pamasahe mo, yung food expenses mo, wala pa doon, class. Okay? So when we say cost price, again, it is the money to spend or the price to spend to produce your goods or services. Okay po? So let's have operating price. When we say operating price, it is the price per unit incurred relative to the production and sale of commodity. This is the additional expenses that have to be considered, such as rent, sales of manpower, and other incidental expenses. Okay, so balik tayo doon sa example ko kanina. For example, your business is about clothing line. Your operating price there is your transportation, your food. Okay? Kung ang business mo naman is about the milk tea, ang cost price mo sa milk tea, class, is yung binili mo ah, ng, ng sago, yung binili mo ng mga powders. Okay po? Yun yung cost price mo. Yung operating price mo sa pag-business mo ng milk tea is your rent. Yung bayad mo sa nagtindera mo, sa tindero mo. Okay, yung bayad mo sa electric bill, sa water bill. Kapag na-aksidente si employee mo, that's part of your operating price. Okay? So that is the operating price. So I hope nakikita nyo yung difference ng cost price and operating price. Kaya nga from the word operating, operation. Operation of your business. That's the price of your operation sa paggalaw ng business mo. Okay? So when we say profit, it is the money earned after the cost price and operating cost are accounted. Okay? Ngayon, class, malalaman mo yung profit mo through your selling price. Okay? Para makuha kasi natin si selling price, you have to combine the three: the cost price, the operating price, and the profit. Okay? Para makuha mo si profit, you have to add the cost price and the operating price minus it to the selling price para makuha mo yung profit mo. Okay? For halimbawa, sa mababang halimbawa na lang tayo, class. Halimbawa, balik tayo nun sa clothing line. Nabili mo si dress worth 200. So, ang cost price mo dun, class, is 200. Your operating cost, let's say 50 pesos. So, you have the cost price of 200 and your operating price is, let's assume, 50 pesos. Okay? Ngayon, gusto mo mabenta, binibenta mo yung dress mo sa halagang 300. O let's say sabihin natin 275 pesos sa isang dress, yung dress na nabili mo sa Divisoria. Ngayon, for you to get your profit, you have to add the cost price and the operating price, which is 250, and subtract it to the selling price. Okay, and you will get 25 pesos. So meaning, si 25 pesos is yung profit, yung kinita mo, yung tinubo mo. Okay? Nalabas na doon yung ina-invest mong 200 pesos sa cost price, na ilabas na doon, labas doon yung ginastos mo sa pamasahe mo, sa pagkain mo papunta doon, sa pagkain mo habang nag-travel ka to Divisoria. Okay? So, sa operation mo, nabawas na yung class. So, meaning, for you to get the profit, you have to get the difference between the selling price and the total cost of the raw materials and the other expenses. Okay po? So, that is for you to get the profit. Again, si cost price is yung original cost ng item mo, nung na-produce mo yung goods o yung service na meron na in-offer ka. That's the cost price. Yung operating cost is your operation of the business, the rent, the incidental expenses, the electric bills, the bills, okay, the salary of your employees, okay. Your profit is your money earned. Labas na doon, naibawas na doon yung cost price mo and your operating cost mo. Profit is your revenue or yung kita mo. Okay? O yung sales mo, nung ano na yun, yung nabenta mo. Okay? Let's have the selling price. For you to get the selling price, you just have to add the cost price, the operating cost, and profit. When we say selling price, guys, this is the price kung saan yung actual na binibenta na natin yung item natin. Siyempre, you have to consider yung cost price mo and yung operating cost and profit. Why? Para may kinita ka. Okay, you have to distinguish your cost price and your operating cost and what profit you want to get from your business you offer. Okay, for the goods you offer rather. Para magkaroon ka ng selling price. Ngayon, doon kikita. Doon kikita ngayon yung business mo if you can identify the three of the three of them. The cost price, the operating cost, and the profit. Okay? So when we say markup, it is the difference between the selling price and the cost price. Sometimes, it is referred to as a margin or gross profit. Another word, markup is the added amount to the original cost. Okay? Diba kanina we define original cost as a cost price. This is the money you spent for the goods. Okay? For the service you offer. Wala pa dyan si operating price. Okay? So meaning, when we say markup, these are the profit, okay, and operating price or any other production expenses. Kasi sabi sa definition class, no, it is the added amount to the original cost. Okay? Ayun yung pag-markup mo dun. Ayun si markup. Your profit, operating price, and other production expenses. Okay. I just want to clarify what is the difference between markup and mark-on. Okay? When we say markup, this is the added amount on your original cost. Markup is the profit, the operating price, or other expenses on your production. When we say mark-on, we will see mark-on the season. Alam niyo mga peak season class. Okay? I just want to clarify this one. Okay? Si mark-on, nag-a-appear yan kapag peak season. For example, New Year. Christmas. 'Di ba? Pag Christmas, lahat ng Christmas and New Year, lahat ng meat, lahat ng fruits, tumataas ang price because of the mark on. Okay? Kasi tumataas ang demand. Pag tumataas ang demand, nagkaka-value si mark o nag-a-appear yung mark on. Okay? Dahil mataas ang demand, maraming kukuha ng product, tataasan natin yung presyo kasi peak season eh. Maraming kukuha even though na mataas ang presyo. Because of the season. Doon nag-a-appear si mark on. Ayun ang pagkakaiba ni mark on at markup. Si markup, that's your profit operating price and other expenses about your business. Pero si mark on, mag-a-appear siya sa pag peak season, pag Valentine's Day. Lahat ng bulaklak nagmamahal. Okay? Kahit nadampot lang yan dyan sa gilid, pag Valentine's Day, mahal ang presyo niya because nandoon si mark on. Nag-exist si mark on because of the peak season. Okay? Ayun yung pagkakaiba nila, class. So when we say rate of a markup, we're just going to get the quotient of the markup and the cost price and times it by 100 so we can get the rate of the markup. Si markup, class, ang rate ni markup is naka-base kay cost. If you can see on the formula, naka-base si markup kay, ang rate ni markup kay cost price. Okay? I just want to, before we proceed to the word problem, let's just have the symbol, class. For the rate of markup, we have R. Okay, we have R. For the rate of markup. Okay. For the markup itself, M sub U. For the cost price, we have M sub O. Okay. Si operating class, operating price. Usually, class, ang ginagamit lang naman natin dito is OP or the word na, yung buong word na operating price. And for our profit, we have P. Okay? So, ito lang yung mga dapat yung tandaan in terms of markup. Okay? So, let's have a word problem. First, Aling Ana would like to sell little trinkets she purchased from Divisoria for 12 pesos each. If the operating cost is set at 25% of the cost, and she would like to have 15% profit on the cost of each item. Okay, we are going to determine the markup price for each trinket and help Aling Ana to determine the selling price of each trinket. Okay, the first thing that we are going to do is to list down our given for us to easily analyze the problem. List down our given. 12 pesos is our cost price. Okay, kasi she purchased from Divisoria from 12 pesos each. If the operating cost is 25% of the cost price. Okay, we cannot identify. Basta sinabi lang sa problem, 25% of the cost price. So, ang target niyang profit is 15% of the cost price. Okay? So now, for us to get the markup, we need to identify first what is the operating price and the profit that she wanted. Okay? Based on the condition in the problem, 25% of the cost price yung operating price niya. Okay? So, we just have to multiply 25% or 0.25 sa 12 and we will get 3 pesos. So, 3 pesos yung operating cost niya. So, now, for us to get the profit, people, okay, I just want to clarify this one also. When we say profit, it is the earn after the cost price and the operating cost are being computed. So for us to get the profit, we need to add the cost price first and the operating price, which is equal to 12 pesos plus 3 pesos is equal to 15 pesos. Now, we can get the profit na yung gusto ni Aling Ana na 15% of it. So, 15% or 0.15. Again, by the definition, profit is the it is a money earned after the cost price and the operating costs are being accounted. Okay, so we need to add first, we need to get the sum first of the cost price and the operating price. Then get the 15% of that. And we will get 2.25 pesos. That's our that's our target profit. Now, let's get letter A. Our letter A is to determine the markup. Okay? Ano ba yung tinaas nung kanyang ano ba yung markup? Ito yung operating cost and the profit. Okay? So para makuha natin si markup, we are just going to add the operating cost and the profit. And you will get, so 3 plus 2.25, you will have the markup of 5.25 pesos. Okay? Para makuha mo yung pagtaas, yung itinaas mo. Okay, again, pag sinabi nating markup, this is the operating price and the profit. Let's have letter B. We are going to determine the selling price of each trinket. Okay? We all know for us to get the markup is equal to the selling price minus the cost price. Okay? Since we already know what is our markup, and we already know what is our cost price. So technically, we are just going to add them together to get the selling price. So since our cost price is 12 pesos and our markup is 5.25 pesos, so you just add them together, you will get 17.25. That's your selling price. But through manipulation of the formula here in letter B, where markup is equal to selling price minus the cost price, so you just have to manipulate. We have markup. Transpose si cost price on the left-hand side since ang target natin is to equate them by S, which is the selling price. So since negative siya dito, class, if we are going to transform it, it will become positive. Okay, then substitute the value. Our markup is 5.25 pesos. Our cost price is 12. Therefore, our selling price is 17.25 pesos. Okay. So, dun sa 12 pesos na cost price niya, mabebenta niya yon ng 17.25. At ang kinita niya doon ay 2.25 kada isang trinket na binibenta niya. Kasi ayun yung profit niya. Okay? Do not forget the unit. Since ang pinag-uusapan natin is all about business, so we're dealing about money and rates. Okay, so if we're talking about the markup and the profit, operating cost, do not forget the unit of peso. Kapag rate na hinahanap, include percent sign. Let's have the second one. A jacket which cost 1,350 is being sold at 2,025 pesos. What is the rate of markup based on cost? Okay, so first again, list down your given. Okay, C, 1,350 is our cost price. C 2,025 is our selling price. So list down our, we are going to look for the rate. Okay, list down our formula. We have markup is equal to selling price minus cost price. Rate of the markup is equal to markup all over cost price times 100%. Okay, let's have our solution. Okay, so for us to get the rate, as you can see, our rate is the quotient of markup and the cost price. So we didn't know kung ano yung cost price. So forget the cost price. Hindi natin alam yung value ng markup natin. So again, for us to get the markup, we're just going to subtract the selling price, which is 2,025, minus the cost price, which is 1,350. And we will get 675 pesos. That is the markup. Okay? Now, for us to get the rate of the markup, we're going to get the quotient of the markup, which is 675 over 1,350 because it is based on the cost times 100%. Okay? So you will get the rate of 50%. Okay? Now, my question here is how can we identify if the 50% of the rate of the markup is correct? Okay? So, alam natin na ang rate ng markup is based on the cost. Okay. So, para malaman natin na tama yung 50% na rate na nakuha natin, we are just going to multiply the cost price to the rate of the markup. Dapat ang lalabas ay si markup. This is the counter-checking, people. Okay? So, since our cost price is 1,350, multiply it by 50% or 0.50, 0.5. That would be equal to 675. Babalik tayo kay markup. Okay? Just counter-checking. Let's have number 3. In 2012, Mark bought a residential lot for 350,000. He sell the property at its present market value, which is 600,000. How much is the markup and how much is the markup rate? Okay. First, list down lang natin yung given natin. Okay. We have 350,000. That is our cost price. That's Mark bought, spent for the residential lot. And he sell that. So our selling price is 600,000. List down all. Before that, let's find the let's let's list kung ano yung hinahanap natin. We're looking for the markup. Gaano kalaki yung tinaas from the cost price. And we're looking for the rate of it. Ilang percentage yung tinaas. Okay, now let's list down the formula. We have markup is equal to selling minus cost price. And our rate is markup over cost price times 100%. Okay, for us to get the markup, we're just going to subtract the selling price, which is 600,000, minus the cost price, which is 350,000. And we will get the markup of 250,000. Okay? Biruin nyo, class, nabili niya lang ng 350. Nabenta niya ng 600,000. Okay? Ang markup niya is 250,000. Okay? Ang laki din ng markup niya. Ibig sabihin, pwedeng pinang-ayos niya, pinang-gastos niya dun sa pagpapaayos ng bahay. Okay? At saka yung profit niya. Kasi combination yung markup, that's combination of operating and your profit. Iba talaga, class, kapag property ang business mo. Habang tumatagal, lumalaki ang value. Okay? Hindi katulad ng iba na habang tumatagal, lumiliit yung value. Sa property class, habang tumatagal, lumalaki ang value niya. Okay, now forget the rate. For us to get the rate rather, no, baka narinig nyo, forget the rate. Okay, for us to get the rate, we're going to get the quotient of the markup and the cost price and times it by 100%. And you will get a rate of 71.43%. Again, dahil ang rate natin, ang markup rate, lagi nakabase yan sa cost. So, ang counter-checking dyan, class, you have to get the product of the cost price and the rate. Dapat ang lalabas dyan yung markup. Okay? Just to, ano lang to, class? So, just to clear things. May checking lang tayo. Okay. Our cost price is 350. Our rate is 71.43% or 0.7143. Dapat equal yan kay 250,000. Actually, ang lalabas dyan sa calcu nyo is 255,000. Ang lalabas dyan is ganito, class. Why? Because we rounded off. Ni-round off kasi natin yung rate. Okay? Pero kung hindi natin ni-round off yung rate, as is yun, kung ilang decimal point yun, class, exact ang lalabas. Okay? Let's have number 4. A certain shop buys and sells foreign currencies. Suppose it buys a US dollar at 4 pesos, 44 pesos rather. Then he sells the dollar at 2.3% markup rate. What is the selling price of the US dollar? Round off your answer to the nearest centavo. Again, list down natin yung given natin. We have 44 pesos. That is our cost price. Si 2.3 is our rate of the markup. Okay, kasi sabi dyan, markup rate. So, first thing that we are going to do is to find. Hahanapin natin si selling price. List down all the formula that we have under the markup. Okay, now let's have the solution. Okay, by just looking on the two formula that we have under the markup, hindi natin pwede gamitin to. The first one, si letter A, formula A, because we don't have the value of the markup. Okay? Ang pwede natin gamitin is si formula B. Okay? So, we have two ways on how we are going to answer this one. Okay? So, first, we can derive formula. Okay? We all know that rate is equal to markup over cost price. Okay? At alam natin na kapag kinukuha natin yung rate, minumultiply natin sa 100%. So, 100. Then, once we multiply to 100, then put percent sign. So, now, we can say that the rate is equal to the quotient of markup and cost price. Okay? Later, we will go into prove it. Paano sila naging equal. So, ibig sabihin, proportion sila, class. Okay? At alam natin na si markup is equal to the selling price minus cost price. Okay? Kasi ang target natin makuha ay si selling price. Okay? Alam natin na si markup is equal to the selling price minus cost price. So, since R is equal to, rate is equal to S, selling price minus cost price all over cost price. So, since ma-equal yan, class, this is a rational. Okay? So, meaning proportion sila. We can do cross multiplication. Okay? So, we have R times M sub O, which is our cost price. Then, we have 1 times, since this is over 1, we have selling price minus cost price. Okay, then we have rate times cost price is rate and cost price is equal to selling price minus cost price. Eh, ang target nating makuha is selling price. We have to equate them to selling price. Okay? So we have selling price. Transpose natin sa kabila si cost price. So we have positive cost price plus yung rate ng cost price is equal to selling price. So, since may common factor si cost price at saka si rate ng cost price, which is cost price, so ilalabas natin siya. So, cost price times 1, babalik tayo dito sa cost price. Cost price times R is, times rate is rate cost price. Okay? So, for us to get the selling price, we have cost price times 1 plus the rate. Okay, class nakuha natin to sa derivation ng formula. Okay, now we can input. Since we have the cost price, which is 44, our rate is 2.3%, or we can rewrite this as like this. 2.3% is equal to 0.023. Then you add them together, then multiply to 44, you will get 45.012. Since the condition in the problem is round off your answer to the nearest centavo, so we have 45. So we have 45 pesos for the selling price. So binibenta niya yung US dollar sa ng presyong 45 pesos. Okay, now balik tayo dito. Para lang ma-prove natin to, class, this one. Okay, ma-prove natin na they are proportion to each other. Okay, so we have the rate is equal to markup all over cost price. Okay, so our rate is 2.3%. Our markup, which is selling price minus cost price, our selling price is 45. Our cost price is 44 over cost price. Then we have 2.3% is equal to 1 over 44. Iko-convert natin si 144 sa rate. So we will get, pag kinuha niyo yung quotient, class, no, ni 1 times 1 divided by 44, you will get 0.0227. Okay? Ko-convert natin siya sa rate. So, move your decimal point twice to the right. So, we have 1, 2, 2.27. Since naka-round off yung rate niya into nearest tens, so we have 2.3%. So, nag-equal sila, class. Okay, so proportion sila sa isa't isa. Okay po? So, we can use this formula if we are looking for the selling price of the, in relation with the markup. Okay? Nakuha po. Pero kung, syempre, no, first, kaya kailangan natin i-manipulate yung formula para mas mapadali yung buhay natin. Okay. So, may isa pang way yan, class, para masagutan. Kung hindi nyo siya dinerive, pwede nyo siyang diretsuhin na, burahin ko lang to, class. Pwede nyo siyang diretsuhin solve. Diretso i-input nyo siya. Okay, pakita ko sa inyo. Okay, halimbawa ganito. Diba? We all know that rate is equal to markup all over cost price times 100%. Ang meron lang tayong given, sa given is cost price and rate. So our rate is 2.3% is equal to markup. So wala siya. Hinahanap natin siya nga para makuha natin si selling price. Okay? Without derivation ng formula class, no? So over cost price which is 44 times 100%. So cancel nyo si percent parehas. So you will have 2.3 is equal to markup over 44 times 100. Since your 2.3 is equal to 1 times 4, 1 over 44 rather, times markup times 100%. Bakit ko hiniwalay si markup? Kasi kailangan natin siyang i-equate sa markup. So, kailangan matanggal lahat ng numerical coefficient ni markup. So, we have 2.3 is equal to 100 over 44. Pinagsama ko na si 1 over 44 tsaka si 100. Diba this is over 1? Okay, so 1 times 100 is 100. 44 times 1 is 44. Then si markup. Para matanggal si 100 over 44 sa tabi ni markup, divide both side by 144. So, ito mag-equal siya sa 1 or simply markup. Tas input sa calculator. Okay, let's input. We have 2.3 divided by 100 over 44. You will have the markup of 1.012. So, ito yung markup. Ngayon, balik kayo dito sa unang formula. So, yung markup is equal to selling price minus cost price. Okay? So, alam nyo na yung markup nyo ay 1.012. Okay? So, markup is equal to selling minus cost price. So, manipulate nyo lang yung formula, equate sa selling price. So, we have markup plus cost price is equal to selling price. Ang cost price mo ay 44. Ang markup mo ay 1.012. Then, add them, you will have 45.012 si selling price. And sabi dyan sa problem, round off your answer to nearest centavo. So, 45. Okay. So, ito yung class. Pero, I will advise you, use the first one. Dun sa, na-derive na natin yung formula ng selling price. Para less computation kayo. Mas mabilis tayo dito. Okay. So now, our selling price for the US dollar is 45 pesos.